Right, another video, another comment section talking about my hair. Hey, the moment I can get a haircut, you will be the first to know. They're not open where I am. Maybe open near you, but not me. But I kind of like it. I might cut the party in the back, though. But I ain't bored with it yet. Anyhow. Justice League Apokolipse War. Dark. Justice League Dark Apokolipse War. You can't forget that. So Justice League Dark Apokolipse War is an animated movie revolving generally around Justice League Dark, or as I like to call them, Nerf Bat Vertigo. Okay, all that hardcore edge that Vertigo comics had. Not really, but you still get the characters, and it actually went on some pretty interesting adventures until it got repetitive. Talking about the comic books, that is. Point is, in Justice League Dark Apokolipse War, Darkseid is coming, so Superman's like, alright, folks, alright, Justice League Dark, anyone who can fight, really, we gotta go take on Darkseid. And so they do, but that ain't the end of it, no. Not at all. And this happens at the beginning of the movie, so don't come at me with that spoiler alert shit. It's the setup. Yeah, they lose badly. So, a couple years later, they gotta lick their wounds and possibly take on Darkseid again. And there's a lot of intrigue, and characters are in very different places now, and here we go. Alright, so Whippy in Justice League Dark, it's more or less spearheaded by John Constantine, voiced by Matt Ryan, which I'm really glad Matt Ryan is back as Constantine from that short-lived live-action series. If that series gave us anything, it's that Matt Ryan in the hearts and minds of fans is Constantine forever. He's reprised the role in various CW series, also the DC animated movies, been Constantine in there. It's like Conroy's Batman, Mark Hamill's Joker, Matt Ryan is Constantine. That said, Kevin Conroy is not Batman in this one. That kind of made me sad, but I get it. But really, I love the setup of this animated movie. I like the fact that they lose at the beginning. That just sets it off down this Final Fantasy VI kind of adventure. Gotta get the band back together, get the crew back together. Are we gonna win? I don't know, we lost before. This is a very interesting place to put everybody. Granted, I'd heard that I have to watch the other animated movies leading up to this, and I just took the leap. I was like, okay, maybe not. Took the plunge, watched Justice League Dark Apokolipse War. I really don't feel like I was missing out on anything, because I did know enough about the characters. I had read enough of the material. I know who they are, where they're coming from. Granted, there are a couple of times where, I mean, there is a laundry list of DC heroes in this story, but there might have been a hero where I was like, oh, they're dead. But there was really no setup in this movie for them, so there might have been before in one of the other animated movies. Kind of shows in something like this, in a scenario like this, you get more attached to them if you watch their story linked to the universe in which they go down. Just because I know them from the comic books, it doesn't really mean shit if I see them just go down on screen. I'm like, oh yeah, but there was no setup here. So maybe it does help out watching the other animated movies, but it doesn't really compromise the experience as a whole. If you know the source material, you know the comics, you know the characters, and you just want to take the plunge here. As for some of the other voices, I already touched on Matt Ryan. Tony Todd plays Darkseid in here. I thought he did a fine job for sure. This isn't even the first time Tony Todd's been Darkseid, but it's funny how voices work. The first time I heard a voice for Darkseid for me was in the 90s with Michael Ironside, and I thought he crushed it. And every time I hear Darkseid, I compare that voice to Michael Ironside. Every time I see Darkseid or I'm reading a comic book, I think of that voice.
Savor your moment of triumph, Superman. But remember, victory has its price.
Not gonna ruin that for you. That shit was epic. So whereas I started this out comparing Tony Todd to Michael Ironside, which I probably shouldn't do, but I can't help it, I thought Tony Todd was good. Maybe I see a little bit of the Snyder Cut's DNA in here. I'm not gonna say it would be exactly the same thing. Kind of like if you're comparing the two universes, the two worlds, the two executions, it would probably be like Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War. You see the story in there, but it is different. It's executed differently. Now, the story I got in terms of the Justice League Snyder Cut is that there were 3 cuts. One, the one we got, one's a 2-parter, and one's a 3-parter in which at a point Darkseid wins, and that vision that Bruce Wayne got in Batman vs. Superman, that becomes reality. They gotta lick their wounds and they gotta take this guy out. And you feel like you see a little of that in here. Whether or not it's gonna go down like that with the Snyder Cut, I don't know. I actually really hope so. I hope it's a 2-parter in which it leaves off there and Snyder's like, well, I guess I just ensured I do a 3rd movie. I think that'd be pretty smart. And I really dug it. I love it when bad guys win and good guys are like, well, we just kind of got our balls kicked up through our throat. We don't know what to do, but we do know that we don't want to live in this shit world. So in the end, Justice League Dark Apokolipse War, I thought it was solid. It was thoroughly engaging. In fact, I could have gone for it being longer. Usually an hour-and-a-half animated movie That's fine. That's right in the pocket. This one I could have gone for seeing more of this world, so I was actually sad it ended. If you don't read the comic books, you don't know the characters, it would probably help watching the animated movies. I don't know how much they're linked. I don't know if they actually feel like a cohesive, linked universe. I don't know, I haven't watched them, but as someone who I have read the comic books, enough of them anyway. I'm not going to say I'm some guru, but I've read enough to know who Trigon is. I read Flashpoint. I actually watched the animated movie as well, so I guess that's another one I've seen. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War actually felt like in the 90s, that animated series that would have a two-parter that came on at 8 p.m. on a Friday and you knew shit was business. You knew it was going down. You're like, dude, the Ninja Turtles are coming on at 8 p.m. on a Friday. Sorry, TGIF. I got things to do. If it wasn't Ninja Turtles, it was Power Rangers. Like, this... Who's Lord Zed? I don't know, but I'm about to find out. They're Zords! They were always there for them. This is kind of what my hair looked like in the 90s. It was like that feeling, that level of epic with a bit more grit, a bit more violence, a couple more F-bombs, led by John Constantine. I love the character and I love Matt Ryan voicing him or playing him whenever it's live action. I would love that series to come back or just have him be in the next season of Lucifer. Come on. Anyhow, I thought it was worth watching, worth buying on Blu-ray. All right, so Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what's a good graphic novel, a good trade, a good comic book to read? You know, we can aim for DC if you want. Indie would probably more do it because I like dark and fucked up. Take that as you will. But whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.